Before anyone asks, Amanda, why were you invited to a New York event when you live in LA? I never got an answer.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about how I was invited to a creators night, essentially, for The Grey House, a new play that is coming to Broadway. So I know what you're thinking, Amanda, why you? I don't know. I still don't know. I literally talked to Matt Pat. I introduced myself, and I'm fairly certain he didn't know me based on that interaction, but he said he gave a list to someone, so I still don't know who. I don't know. Maybe someone was like, oh, Swell will come. She'll come and she'll make content because she likes being invited to things. I do. I love being invited to things. At the end of April, 2 or 3 weeks before this, I was sent an email saying that I was invited to Grey House on Broadway May 10th. And I immediately was like, what? I got an email saying you are invited to see Grey House on Broadway on Wednesday, May 10th at 8 p.m. There will be an exclusive after party. Details to come. Luckily, the 120-year-old Lyceum Theater in Manhattan has no shortage of shadowy corners, which to mix and mingle with other guests, the ones we've invited and the few who never leave. So I sent it to my management to be like, do you think I'm going to be abducted in New York? Because you never know. And before they replied, I RSVP'd. Because you never know, but I'm going to find out. That's really all you gotta do. You just gotta invite me. That's all I need. I will show up. I will figure it out. I will pay for my own flight. I don't care. I will go, okay? Especially if there's a possibility of content getting taken out of it and all that. Plus, I am a lover of theater at my soul, okay? I am a theater kid. I did theater for years. I'm currently pursuing acting. I'm in acting classes. All of my acting classes are based in theater mainly. And so I was very excited for this. I have not seen a Broadway show since Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark when I was in 8th grade. I had not been to New York since I was in 8th grade, unless you count the layover when I was going to Europe last year. So I was very excited for this trip and very excited for this play. So I got in on Tuesday because no flights would have gotten me in on time for Wednesday. So I got in on Tuesday and I went and saw Jessica Chastain's A Dollhouse because I have an English degree and I'm also a simp. And I had heard some mixed reviews about it and I actually liked it a lot, but that's not the point of this video. So when I RSVP'd, they asked if I wanted a +1 and I said, no, just me. And they were like, cool, perfect. You're on the list. Good. Now the thing is that it's not that no one would go with me and it's not that I don't know anyone in New York City. It's that I don't like waiting for confirmation from other people because I've already made up my mind. And if I have to wait a day or two for you, we're too late. I'm not taking that risk. No offense. So you need to be on the speed. And none of my friends are like there. So originally the reason I assumed of why they reached out to me of all people is they assumed that because I travel a lot, I was down to travel. True. Or maybe they assumed that I lived in New York. I don't know. I put LA on all my stuff, but I mean, if you just see this, I could live in Florida for all you know. I could live in Canada like all of you think I secretly do. You know, like I could live anywhere with this background. So I guess that's where I really thought it was going, was that it was just like maybe they think I live in New York, so it's not a big deal. It's funny because I actually didn't get any confirmation for like the rest of the event, like the showtime itself. Like I knew the showtime was at 8, so I was like, I'm just gonna show up at Lyceum Theater at like 8 or 7:30, whatever. Didn't actually get any of the like actual breakdown of the event until Tuesday, literally when my flight landed is when I got everything. And so I think that's also kind of the like value of how I do things of like, yeah, I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to go and I'll figure out the rest there. Because whether or not, like if this had all been canceled and I just didn't hear about it until I was there, I was going to have a good time in New York regardless. That's just something I like about myself because I think there's a lot of people who wouldn't just go and take that risk. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I kind of like that. Anyways, so I got the email saying that here's the information for the event itself. Pre-show at Lyceum Theater. It was starting at 6:30. We were going to have a full little pre-show. Enjoy light drinks for 30 minutes upon your arrival. So let me explain it this way. I know what you're thinking. Amanda, why are they inviting content creators to a play on Broadway to begin with? Well, that's because of this man. William, please put a photo of Matt Pat. In this email, they describe him as Matt Pat, creator of The Theorists, which I think is very funny. But basically, Matt Pat was asked to work on the show, to produce this show. So the Grey House is produced by Matt Pat. He's been throwing out a bunch of ideas for the producers and the marketing team and all this stuff. And one of the things that he threw out there was doing a creators night. Like, have you guys ever thought about inviting YouTubers and TikTokers to previews and doing a full night and having them do promotion for you? And basically that's what this night ended up being. I walk over to Lyceum Theater from my hotel. It's about like 6:20. I'm super early, but I was like, you know what? I'll check out the vibes. I will get clips outside. Because I really wasn't sure if I was going to do a sit-down video like this or if I was going to do a short-form video. So I was kind of filming back and forth, and that's why you'll see some clips that I'm sure from B-roll will be vertical instead of horizontal. I met a girl that was standing outside. Saw Matt Pat pull up. So I got there before Matt Pat. Again, this keeps happening. When I was at my friend's wedding, I showed up before the groom showed up. This event, I showed up before the producer Matt Pat showed up. I was talking outside with someone who was someone's +1, very sweet, talking outside. And then all of a sudden, Art Gamer from Mars walks up and says, Amanda, hey, Gamer from Mars. I know, we've talked, we've hung out. I know you. He was like, yeah, I wasn't sure if you knew me or not, or remembered. Is my reputation with being bad with names, has that gotten that far? So he actually lives in Pennsylvania and apparently had met Matt Pat at Creator Clash, which I knew that Matt Pat was at Creator Clash. I did not know the Art was at Creator Clash. So how I missed him, I don't know, but I also missed Mr. Gigi. So I clearly was just in a daze the entire time. I was at Creator Clash half the time, I guess. And so apparently they'd gotten talking about Broadway and theater, and Matt Pat was like, oh, I'm having this show that I'm producing, you should come and invite. That's how Art got invited. So we know how Art got invited. We don't know how I got invited. And okay. So they ended up pushing us back so that they could set up the metal detectors, and we got our tickets with our names on it and our seat numbers. Now, we'll talk about my seat number in a moment because I don't know how I ended up as far up as I did. So because of how early I was, I ended up being the first one inside the theater. And so I go through the metal detectors, go inside. They walked around and handed out our tickets after checking our names off the list, basically. And I got my ticket, Grey House, yay. So we go inside the theater and they gave us bags. They were like, what size shirt are you? We've got medium, large, and extra large. And I said, I'll take a medium. They handed me a bag and they were like, oh, sorry, we forgot. We swapped the order. So this is actually a medium, and gave me this bag instead. They're all the same bag, but it says the Grey House, we've been expecting you. It's a pretty heavy duty canvas bag. I always appreciate that. And inside was these shirts. Grey House, very nice. Nothing on the back. This pin of the scary little girl from all their marketing. This envelope, we've been expecting you. Welcome to Grey House, we've been expecting you. Some people live to talk about us. Are you one of them? And apparently they have a subreddit, and Matt Pat was not the one who recommended it, but he was so excited when the marketing team said, hey, so we set up a subreddit, because he was like, oh my gosh, great, you guys already know what a subreddit is. So that's good. And then Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are all on here as well. And also in here was this little bracelet. Now, the bracelet itself in the play does not have a ton of significance. It's more of the style of the bracelet with the knots and the color, and also obviously the Grey House has the circle on it. So they have the bracelet. So that's what was also in there. And we were led down into what was apparently the basement area of the Lyceum Theater. I want to say it's Lyceum, right? It's not Lyceum. You guys always make fun of me when I pronounce place names wrong. People's names, I totally get it. That's on me, 100%. But place names, I don't get why you guys get so judgy about it. So we go down into the basement, and they had a photo wall set up and a step and repeat wall set up with some chairs and camera set up, and they had a bar. I just got a water, but they had free drinks there. It was me, Art, and his Art's +1, whose name oh God. We talked for so long. How do I do this? Is it Bridgerton where that line where it's like, oh yeah, no, he has a new doctor. What's his name? I don't remember names. I am female. I may need to just start using that. Will that work? If I just blame my gender. But down in the basement is where we got to watch the pre-show, and they filmed it as well, of Matt Pat interviewing the playwright Levy Holloway and director of artistic sign language Andrew Morrill. So Andrew also said that the director of artistic sign language, they apparently call him the Dazzle. And I like that a lot. So this early conversation was talking a lot about the inception for the play. I knew the play was a horror play based on obviously the advertisement and the fact that the email mentioned the ghosts of the Lyceum theaters, and the fact that the post-show mentioned that we'll want to discuss what we had witnessed, like we were going to be left with questions and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, is this like a mystery? I knew it was horror, but I wasn't sure like exactly how it was going to play out. So we got to hear Levi Holloway talk about how he wrote this a kind of story about grief and all this stuff and that loss and the horror play. And this has previously been performed at a theater in Chicago. They also talked about the accessibility of Broadway and doing accessible shows and having interpreters on site for shows like this, or shows in general, to make it more accessible for attendees. And Andrew Mudrill is also there because there is a deaf character in the play, and the characters are also all signing at different points basically throughout the play. They also really emphasize the fact that this is not like a play about a deaf character. There is just a deaf character in this play. Obviously, I can't really comment on that representation and how that plays out, but I thought it was done really well. The discussion was very interesting because it's something that a lot of people that are hearing don't consider, and so I just thought that was a very enlightening conversation. I thought it was very good to have, and they had someone signing for Andrew that whole time as well. He was right in front of me.
And so my job entails a couple of things. The first part of it has to do with the dramaturgical approach and it's the text work, basically. So we have to take a script that was written in English and figure out what the translations are going to be in a completely different language. Especially working, to create creative ASL translations. So ASL, we don't have so much documentation of the actual language because there's no written form of ASL. Whereas with English, we can see how it's changed from Shakespearean times up until modern times. But we didn't have the time to codify it for the masses. So there's a lot of limited resources out there, but I will give you a simple example. So in the 70s, we used to sign in English word order rather than in our American Sign Language grammar. So let's take the example, the sentence, "Who are you?" So today we would sign it like this. Who are you? Just like this. Who, and then you gesture to the person that you were speaking about. But in the 70s, we would sign, "Who are you?" So these are little nuances. They might not seem like a lot to you, but definitely the deaf audience that comes to see our show will be able to appreciate and take in those nuances.
Oh yeah, before the actual pre-show happened is when Matt Pat was walking around and Art was like, "Oh, hey man," like talking, because that's how Art got there. And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I wanted to introduce myself," because I had seen Matt Pat at Creator Clash and I had heard him quite a bit. And I was like, "Your voice carries." I didn't get the chance to say hi. And he was like, "No, I'm sorry." I was like, "No, it's not something to apologize for. I wanted to mention it." And so I was mentioning how I didn't know how I was invited. And again, Matt Pat clearly did not know who I was. I do not think. I introduced myself. He introduced himself to me. I do not think he knew who I was. Okay. But then he also said, because I was like, "Yeah, I don't know how I ended up invited here, but I'm here," and he was like, "Oh, I gave them a list of people," but he didn't know who I was. So I don't know if he gave a list or if someone else on his team gave a list. Either way, I don't like leaving events where I don't know how, I don't like saying, every time I go to a Casetify event, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me," because I know who my person at Casetify is basically. And I could not for the life of me figure out who invited me to this thing. And I never like that. I never like being able to leave an event without saying, "Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me." And I did that to everyone that I could find, but I still don't know who put me on that list. So very weird. I don't know. Maybe it was the ghost. I don't know. The pre-show ends and we were able to kind of mill around a little bit. I got my photo taken. They just said to act scared. And so here's the photo of that, of me being scared. And there was another girl that I met there. I did not meet her. So I feel bad I did not get her name, because I know for a fact I did not get her name. But she reminded me a lot of myself, at events like this. When I first started going to events alone, just kind of the awkwardness of that. And I still experience that at a lot of events and things like that. And so I could tell that she wanted a photo from the photo booth, but didn't know how to start, "Hi, can I take a photo?" So I was like, "Hey, can I kind of helped her out a little bit, got a photo," and she looked very nice. So I hope you ended up having a great time. She was talking later at the event as well, so I didn't get a chance to talk to her, but I hope you had a good night. I feel so bad I didn't get your name. So we go to our seats. Now, Art and his friend were further up, and they were like, "Oh, you're way farther down. You've got better seats than us." And I don't, again, how did I get this far up? They assigned me this seat. I don't know if this was just we've got extra seats. And then later, I was literally one of, I think, 2 people from these creator groups that were up front. The other person was fucking Ranboo. I didn't realize it was him at first. I knew he was him. Okay, so I knew it sounds so bad. I was like, that's one of the guys from Dream SMP. I wanted to guess Carl, but I don't think there's a Carl in Dream SMP. And sure enough, it's fucking Ranboo. But he's fucking tall. There was an empty seat. So I don't know if someone didn't come or what the deal was, but he literally was sitting like at an angle because his legs are so long. I ended up talking to him very briefly at the end of the after party, but still. So I don't know who invited me. This has me believe that what if you thought I would really enjoy this, which I did. I loved it. I'm pursuing acting. I love horror. Like I don't... Who invited me to this? So anyways, then it was playtime. I don't even think I could spoil this play if I wanted to, really. It's one of those things where I really think that I would leave things out. There are times where you guys watch my movie reviews, because I know I hip hop around a lot when I review movies and shows, and because I just can't possibly cover everything. And I'm bad at summarizing because my brain doesn't work like that. You guys are always like, I like watching your movie reviews because I could watch it and still not know what's going on. So I can go and watch the movie afterwards and still not feel like you ruined anything. But this play, I truly don't think I could spoil anything if I really wanted to, because there's so many twists and turns into it. And I'm sure once the play actually opens that there will be elements that were tweaked and changed and things like that. So The Grey House is starring Laurie Metcalf, Tatiana Maslany, Paul Sparks, Sophia Ann Caruso, Millicent Simmons, Cindy Kahn, Colby Kipnis, and Alyssa Emily Marvin, and Iman Patrick O'Connell. So the entire play takes place in this cabin in, I believe, the mountains during a snowstorm. And it opens with this family of sorts watching television together. And there's a lot kind of happening. And then they hear a crash outside. So they all scatter. A man and a woman come in and the man is injured. They've just been in a car accident. This is not a normal cabin. These are not normal. This is not a normal family of young children. Even this crash is not normal for this house. This is kind of spoilery, but not spoilery because it's super early in the play. I think it's important for you to know. Men come to this cabin all the time. There's accidents all the time that lead men to this cabin. What makes it different this time is that he is with his wife, played by Tatiana. And so the children know, their mama knows, then the house knows that this is a different type of day, a different type of accident. And that's where the play really starts. That's really all I can tell you without spoilers. God, I want to discuss the play itself, but I really can't. I really want to encourage you all to go and see this, because part of the reason that I am very excited about this in general to see how this play performs on Broadway is that this is the first horror production, I think, since Carrie. Let me find out. See, a lot of these just have horror elements to them, but they're not like horror Jekyll and Hyde. Okay, this play is scary. It is a horror production. There is some gore, but not like horrific gore, I would say. Like, it's like, it's there, but it's not like in your face, like, oh my God. And I wouldn't say that there's jump scares, but there's this incredible transition that they do that works really well, where even right up front, I was worried this was going to be super loud, but it wasn't. There is a like clapping, stomping sound happening the entire time. I'm not doing it right, but happening super aggressively loud during blackout transitions. Because pretty much everything is on stage most of the time. Like the transitions that happen are just the entire stage just goes black, and like it's the entire theater. It doesn't make you jump, but you're just like, oh, fuck. That's really the only way I can describe it. And then you have that sound going the entire time. So it's almost like unsettling, but it's not scary, which I think worked really well. The entire cast is very good. And it's not necessarily a musical, but there are songs in it actually in this time around. It opens with a song. There's a song towards the end, but it's not like a musical, but there's music in it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. How would you describe a musical? Because I describe musicals as like the songs play integral parts to the plot, or there's actual plot happening within the songs. Whereas I think here, these songs are just elements within certain scenes versus like plot actually happening in these songs. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining that right at all. I don't know. Honestly, I want to see the play again, frankly. I may have to go back to New York when it actually opens. Somebody was amazing in it. Colby Kipnis, who plays Squirrel in the play, was so good. I was like, oh my gosh. Like I know Sophia's good because I've seen the illegal recordings of Beetlejuice. And I obviously know Tatiana is amazing. Paul Sparks, him being slightly older than his wife of 5 years, I think that fits based on what ends up happening in the play itself. It leaves more questions and like, what was he telling the truth? Was this that? All in all, I really loved the play. I thought it was really well done. I loved the horror elements. I love feeling like I had to like keep searching the stage, trying to figure out if I was missing anything, because something would happen and I'd be like, wait, how did I not notice that before? You know? And I love that. They did have me a little stressed out with the stage design because you're inside of a cabin, but the way they had the roof was that there were things hanging from the roof, which fits at the end, but the roof almost caved in like a circle. And like big enough circle that a human could have fallen through. So I was like, we're talking about grief. Someone's mentioning that they may have been hanged, you know, at one point. And so I was expecting a body to drop at some point. Honestly, they had me stressed out with that stage design. The after party was at the Perfect Pint on the 4th floor, literally like just up the street from the Lyceum Theater, which was good. There was like a little cornered off area upstairs with the step and repeat up there for the Grey House. We could take photos up there. They had food for us. They had drinks available, and then we could order more. But because of we had wristbands showing that we were part of the Grey House group, basically. So if we went up to the bar, we could get drinks from that. And then we had our wandering girl. Obviously, you have the creepy little girl on the pin and on the poster. Like I said, there's children in this house, and they're all in nightgowns the entire time for the most part. It's relevant. And so they had hired an actress to walk around the party in her nightgown the entire time. I posted a clip to my carousel post on Instagram of this, and someone was like, why is no one helping that young woman? And I was like, she's a hired actor. Who would think that I would just post a video of a woman clearly in distress and not help her or post it at all? What? She stayed in character for like a good 3 hours, I would say. She was like walking around. I was like, you good? She didn't say a word. She just nodded, just walking around. People would be like, can we get a photo with you? And she would shuffle over, get into her position, and then keep going. She would walk up to a table like the table's in her way. Very NPC. I love things like that. I love actors who can commit to things like that. I always think that immersive element of just like, you know, here, there is a potential ghost person walking around here. Here is a lost child wandering around. Here we go. So I also met Wade in the Wings and his girlfriend this trip. Apparently he had just found my channel because you guys watch a lot of our videos at the same time. So in the Creator Studio, it'll show you like other channels and other videos that your viewers are watching, because that's how it's a good thing for us to know for, you know, what you guys are looking for and things like that for, you know, what videos we can make in the future. And apparently a bunch of you guys also watch his videos, or whoever watches his videos watch a bunch of my videos. So he started watching my content from that. So we talked. Art was like, oh my God, wait, I do know him because he made the Spider-Man documentary for Spider-Man Into the Dark, the Broadway play. And that's the last Broadway play I had seen prior to this trip. And so we went over and started talking about that and all of that. And then Matt Pat was there. We were talking about Matt Pat because we had been talking about how something like this play would be perfect for a horror movie adaptation. It would be so good. Okay, there's a lot of plays that I think the medium matters for a lot of instances. I say this a lot about adaptations. There are some books that cannot be adapted because they just will not be done well, and it will be a mess because they just work perfectly in written form. Same with a lot of plays. There's a lot of plays I don't think should get screen adaptations other than like say a professional recording of the production itself because they just don't translate well. This could be translated so well into like almost a one-room horror movie that I think would be done so good. So I was like, you guys need to like invite like Jason Blum or something like to one of these shows because I think this could be so good for a horror film. Ended up talking with them and Matt Pat for like hours. Yeah. And so Matt Pat was asking me, he's like, oh, you know, I asked people like what 5 horror movies would you recommend? So I'm like giving him my horror movies, all this stuff. And then left that Art and I went and got McDonald's in Times Square. And then I went back to my hotel room and then I stayed up all night to catch my flight because I was like, do I get an hour of sleep or do I get work done? Anyways, that was it. They actually did say that I will be potentially getting 2 tickets to the Grey House for a giveaway to my viewers. So once I know more about that, hopefully by the time this is actually ready to go out, I will have received confirmation about that and I will have those tickets available for you so we can do a little giveaway. I'm not sure exactly the best way to go about that, but we will figure it out. What I'll probably end up doing is doing a community post and then using a randomizer to pick all those screen names from that will probably be the best way for me to do that, just to keep it as random as possible and things like that. But I think that would be very fun to get 2 tickets. I'll probably just do it 2 tickets for one person so you can go with someone because not everyone everyone is comfortable going alone like me, so I get that. And then they also gave me a discount code for you guys. So like I said, the Grey House opens May 30th. So if you go to telechargeoffers.com for the Grey House, I will have that link down below. And you put in code GHbasement, capital G, capital H, lowercase basement, into there, you will get $10 off your ticket. I hope this play does well. It was fun afterwards at the after party as well, talking with MatPat about all different like marketing things that they could do and stuff to get people involved in this play and like really excited about it. I think this could be really fun, and I think a lot of younger audiences that love horror will really like this. Horror is definitely having a major moment in the box office right now for movies. And so I think that if there's just more promotion done for younger audiences for Broadway shows like this, I think it'll do incredibly well. So I'm excited to see how it does. I really can't reiterate how much I love it. Anyways, that's going to be it. Have you ever heard of Grey House? Is there a horror play on Broadway that you've previously seen that you liked? Do you think horror will do well on Broadway? Do you think that more work should be done with inviting content creators into Broadway showings to get more advertisement for Broadway shows? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I have a podcast, the Swell Entertainment podcast. Reminder, I have merch. I don't think there'll be anything for this video because I don't know what I would do. If you invite me, I'll probably go. Ooh. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. That might be fun. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. I'd also support me on my Patreon. The list down below. Like to let me know on social media. That'll be up here. That's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. I really love this play, but I guess that's just a theory. A game theory. I had to get one in there.
Thank you, Andrew, Allen, Awful, BJ, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Crispy, Crash, China, Dirty One, Don, Elliot, Donnie, Evan, Eric, Eyal, Hopeless, Homer, Incognito, Isaiah, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Justin, Kim, Kristen, Lamb, Lexley, Louise, Mae West, Madeline, Matt, Matthew, Meme Lord, Michael, Michael J, Michael T, Micah, Nathaniel, Pat, Penn, Philip, Richard, Rob, Rosie, Red, Robert, Ross, Ryan, Sam, Serena, Skylar, Simon, Taj, Timothy, Heavenly, Plastic, Tyler, Tenzin, Tom, Thomas, Qwerty, Victor, Wendy, Will, William, Zendry, Zwink.